All right, welcome back to the Box Banter podcast. My name's Raymond. This is Timmy.
Yes, it is.
Melbourne Grand Prix.
Mm-hmm.
It's over. It's come and gone, just like that.
Yeah. Somewhat, it was over before it began, really, for most of us.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much the perfect way to start off the episode, isn't it? It was over before it even began.
Yeah.
So, I think all the initial hype of seeing how these cars get to race together, at least for us personally, was completely crushed 45 minutes before the race even began.
Yeah. And some people who chose to listen in got to see our very live and raw shock and reaction to it.
Well, it was the first time we live streamed. That was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to doing it for China again.
Yeah.
But managing all of the behind the scenes stuff as well as, trying to watch the race.
Yeah.
There was some genuine shock there of trying to understand what the hell is going on. Because when we flicked over to the live broadcast, they were showing the replay of what had happened. Yeah. So in my mind, I'm thinking, when did this happen on the weekend? I don't remember McLaren crashing there at turn whatever it was, 4, 5? Yeah.
4, 5.
And then I think it was you who said, wait, is this live? Did this just happen?
Well, I was exactly the same as you. I was like, this was a rare weekend. I've watched everything. And I'm like, no McLaren has crashed this weekend. So this is not good.
Yeah. And then all weekend, his helmet has been catching me out all weekend. And now, both cars have a number 1 on there. Just one has an 8 on there as well. So you can even overlook that too. Yeah. So, I had a brief moment of
that's cheeky, by the way. Oscar does have a number 1 on his car.
He does,
Yeah, I like that.
I had a couple of comments going into the season that I look forward to him dropping the 8 next year. But
that's a good little...
but his championship...
Off to a rough start.
Yeah, his championship bid has gone awry so far. So, last year, he comes off the track and he's bogged in the grass for a minute and he can't get out, and he eventually does. And
about 3 minutes.
And that was a crushing race.
Yeah.
Now, I did not believe it could get any worse than that. And somehow, here we are, it got worse than that.
It did.
So I do believe that there is 100% an Aussie curse.
Oh, yeah, there is.
The only other driver I can really think of, because I was racking my brain, I'm like, what other fan base has gone through this? The only one I can think of that kind of somewhat comes close is Charles Leclerc trying to win Monaco. He
has won it.
He has won it now, yes, but it did take him 7 years.
That's nothing.
Well, Oscar's only in, his
fourth but the Aussie curse
year.
Isn't just about Oscar.
It is long standing, isn't it? So explain to me, what does the Aussie curse consist of? Well, and whilst you're doing that,
it started with I'll tell you a story, hey? It started with Mark Webber, 2002, debuts with Minardi, and he finishes 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 5th doesn't normally garner you a spot on the podium, does it?
Minardi is a name I have not heard in a long time.
And they're a shit team. They shouldn't... and that all comes into why a 5th place driver was on the...
nice stress, by the way.
Yeah, Heineken, in F1 spirit.
Yeah. If you can hear that, if you heard the click, some of you might have gone, that's...
Yeah, it's a Heineken. Yeah. From the Bud to a Heine, it doesn't get much different. And he goes on the podium as a 5th place finisher. And that was the day the Aussie Curse was born. Mm-hmm. From there, Mark Webber never stood on the podium at his home Grand Prix again, after standing on it as a 5th place driver. And then we had Daniel Ricciardo come along, and he gets a podium for a couple of hours, and then it gets revoked for some silly technical breach. And then
I don't even think it was for a couple of hours. I think it was less than a couple of hours.
Maybe it was that afternoon. Mm-hmm. And then he has the Renault moment where he starts, and same thing, you're all anticipation, the off-season anticipation, you're just excited. He's not going to necessarily do well, but you're just excited. It's his own Grand Prix, you never know, right? Ferrari strat, you never know. And then going into turn 1, hits a service road between 2 patches of grass and rips his front wing off, and he's out of the race.
Arguably, you could question, what was he doing out there, but...
If you go for a gap, if you don't go for a gap, that's not
that moment is as similar to this Oscar moment, isn't it? Over before
exactly right. And then here we have Oscar. Last year it's his 3rd year in the sport. It's his best chance we've had. I mean, you don't expect much from him as a rookie driver, and then the second year with McLaren sort of coming on a little bit. Had no expectations in his second year. And even last year going into it, you didn't expect it. And then, he comes out and you're like watching it as he's a real shot here. Like running second, faster than the leader. Here we go. And then, they both hit. This is where it's tough. They both hit a patch of water.
Yeah.
They both go off.
One survives,
Oscar
one doesn't.
just goes off a little harder.
Yeah.
And gets bogged for 3 minutes. And then here we are. Flip the coverage over to see Oscar in the wall.
Oh, it was a good shank too,
on
wasn't
the
it?
reconnaissance lap.
Like, watching it back, the way it whips around, the force that it hit the wall, it was decent.
Well, before we saw, another replay, I was hoping we might see him limping it back in, and maybe McLaren can stitch this thing back together. And then once they showed, because they were real hesitant on the replays and then the information for some reason. And when they finally showed it, you're like, and he knew. I don't know if you watched it many times since, but the second he hits that wall,
he's got his
hands on his helmet, just gliding across the track, no effort in trying to avoid anything. He's gutted for himself and gutted for the 500,000 people there that is there to see him.
Well, nice story. Thanks for the story. More of a nightmare. Yeah. Little uncomfortable this close to bed. I don't think I'm going to sleep for days after that. So thank you very much for allowing us to relive that. Yeah. It's funny on the footage too. You can see they obviously cut to the Oscar Piastri stand, all these poor bastards paid thousands of dollars to be there.
Yeah. They got the hat and the shirt to prove it too.
Yeah, they got the hat, they got the shirt. They've spent days in the sun. They're here. Finally, the moment has arrived. They see they see the cars take the track.
They didn't even imagine. They should consider themselves lucky that they saw him exit the pit lane. Because past turn 5, they never even got to see him on Sunday.
Nope, he never made it around to even pass the Oscar Piastri stand. So I feel for those people who spent the money and didn't even get to see the hometown hero complete a single lap. Yeah, and there was just to see people all just Oscar, and they're obviously watching the big screen, and then it just changes, and it's genuine shock. It's what am I watching?
The same feeling we had.
It's just you can literally see hearts breaking in real time. So
and again, it's you saw the McLaren's clearly didn't have the pace. You could tell in qualifying and practice they're not quite there. I wasn't expecting him to win it. In hindsight, probably wouldn't have even nearly podiumed, but you just want to see the guy race.
I was confident that he could be on for a podium. And I think that there was an element there from last year. He would have felt like he missed out last year. So he would have been equally extra hungry to get a result on track here. Yeah. And we saw how well the Ferraris fought Mercedes. I have no doubt that Oscar could have done the same thing in that sort of similar position. Should he have been able to get to his grid spot and start the race?
I mean, if you saw the start Charles had, that set him up to be in position to contend for the win.
Out of all the F1 moments that we've watched, I think that now goes to the top of the list as the most painful moment. There's some tough ones on there, and not just specific to Aussie drivers and the Aussie fan base. That one there, that hurts, and I think there was a lot of not even just Oscar fans, even other drivers, even the media outlets, they were expressing just how gutted they were that had happened. Yeah. So I'd like to get your thoughts on it a little bit. Do you, based on what we know, do you think it was 50-50 driver car? Do you think driver was more responsible? Do you think car was more responsible? Based on what we know of the situation so far.
Well, I guess you have to say it's 50-50, but at the end of the day, he's the only one that made that mistake. And from what...
How dare you? How dare you? I am here.
He broke my heart yesterday, okay? So he's going to hear it from me. Andre come out and said, it's a combination of the curb, the cold tyres, and the outstanding instantaneous torque delivery that these things have.
100 kilowatts in that moment.
At that moment, but it's
unfortunately why his rear tires on the curb.
And that's the thing. Was he a bit lackadaisical? I mean, I don't know. You watch all the reconnaissance laps where they all. I mean, he doesn't need to use that curb at that time. Yeah, and he'll learn from this. But it wouldn't happen. Last year's cars, they're in tune with that car. This is still new to everyone, and unfortunately, he's the one who made that mistake. And you bet the rest of the reconnaissance laps, everyone would have been like, okay. That's just a gentle reminder that, you are dealing with a light switch of 1,000 horsepower.
Well, we don't even know how many cars were out ahead of him first.
Well, they're at the end of the pit lane. There's a high chance that he was behind Lando, and that's it.
Yeah, okay.
Because they're at the end of the pit lane.
So no one else would have had the foresight of like, oh, okay,
and it's
don't
the
hit
same
that curb
thing
with that cold tire. And
he could have been doing that through practice or qualifying. For whatever reason, it just, of course, caught him at the absolute worst possible time.
Isn't it amazing? So my perspective, I'll take the other side of the perspective, and I'll say Oscar can do no wrong. It wasn't his fault. How was he supposed to know the car was just going to torque up 100 kilowatts in that moment while he's on the curb?
He's in control of these things.
I just can't believe how such micro moments of nothingness can just have such a huge effect on a race and a championship. We saw this last year. We saw him, how many just very small moments snowballed into something so much bigger. And we don't have to rehash last season. Everyone remembers these small moments. Yeah. But this is just another small moment of like, if you could go back in time, just something as simple as don't hit the curb.
Yeah,
if he's off the curb and that spike happens, assuming that is what had happened in that moment, he survived it. Even if he whips around, just the violent nature that it did and sent him straight to the barrier. How much open road is in that space there? And the car doesn't just whip into safety. Yeah. Of course, it just shunts itself straight into the barrier with such force. It just destroys the suspension. He gets a puncture. Like he's
done,
dead and buried.
Yeah, so. And puncture's the least of his concerns. I mean, that's we're going to see a lot of this year. Like that's the big thing. The cars are down like 55% aero, whatever. Like they're going to see driver mistakes. They keep going on. The drivers have to drive these cars, and that's what we all want to see. He caught one of the best out this weekend. But
so before we move into the new era of Formula One, do you see him bouncing back and kind of having a similar trajectory to last year where, he hit a low point and then came out and just whipped out a triple header or win? Do you think we can expect more of the same or?
Well, I've brought this up a couple of times. Max 2022, DNF in Australia, DNF from round 2. Goes on to just win the next 22 races straight, effectively. So he's never down. It's hard to say, hey. I mean, the thing is, last year, the McLarens had pace in Australia. He was on for the win when he goes off. Yeah, we saw Lando did, and which a whole lot of nothing. The cars are going to be, like, I wouldn't be surprised if next week, like, Mercedes will still be strong, but I wouldn't be surprised if, just like that, another team is up there that quickly. Like, they just find something. Race to race, we could see massive changes in the pecking order. So there's a chance, but...
Well, I know there's a chance.
I just don't know. I don't know. I don't think McLaren it's not in the next couple of rounds, I don't think.
I agree. I think that this car is clearly not last year's car, and they've got McLaren have got a bit of work to do.
Yeah. I think Mercedes have just... As long as their car stays out of the eyes of the FIA, I think that they're too far ahead for a quick...
well, that's the thing, like,
change of the top spot.
We've got a triple header, right? So let's just say that they go on and win each race, potentially 1-2 each race. You've already got a bag of points on your competitors to start the year off. Like you're already a mile down the road.
Look at all their competitors. Like Ferrari, they picked up the rest, but Red Bull had one car didn't finish. McLaren had one car didn't finish. That's 50% of your top tier competition that are already a huge way down the order.
Okay, so the new era of F1. So this is the battery era. I've heard terms like artificial racing.
Yeah, I'll say that. Yeah.
Was that? Yeah. Okay. Where did you pick that up from?
Huh? From my big brain.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, now I know you are lying. Yeah. So, straight off the bat, what do you think? You a fan or no? Do you like this? Do you like what's going on here?
I don't understand it because the first 4 or 5 laps, entertaining. And it's like I said during the live, this is what we all wanted. This is what everyone wants. You got constant change for the leads, you got the ability to overtake, you got the ability to race. But then I don't understand why Max couldn't do a damn thing about Norris.
Well, he had newer tyres, right? He carved up the whole entire field pretty much except for the top 5 dudes.
Well, exactly. But what does tyres mean when George, like that's still the same old story. George can go and do 40 plus laps, happy days, gapping Miss Ferrari.
Was that how much it ended up being?
It was like 44 laps or something, 46 laps.
That is pure filth there.
And then it's that, but it's also the fact that their laps are 15 laps older than Ferrari and they pulled more of a gap.
Yeah.
So it's like not only do they have a obvious car advantage, but the tyres don't mean a damn thing, which is a problem.
Didn't come into contention at all.
But whatever happened in the first 4 or 5 laps, whether that was drivers just having a bit of fun and just trial and error for the lead, that was entertaining. Mm-hmm. I got a stat later on, which is pretty interesting about all that. But
we might have the same stat.
Probably. It's a good stat. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's going to be good. And it's like I said as well, the biggest issue with these like Formula One cars, and especially in that last generation of cars, is the dirty air was such a factor in racing, such a negative factor. The drivers couldn't follow too close. If you need to make a move, you need to make it quick. Otherwise, your tyres burn up, your car gets hot, all this. And you couldn't follow around fast corners. Whereas now, turn 9 is the fastest corner at the track. But they're losing 50 kilometers an hour, 300 meters before they get there. They're downshifting. They're basically just cruising into the corner. Yeah. And then so straight away, that dirty air factor is not a factor anymore in that corner. Like, not every track's going to be the same, but that should hopefully spice racing up just a little. The fact that you can run closer to the car ahead and the dirty air is not going to be as much of an impact. Because instead of the old cars where you're maximizing that corner, you're hitting that corner as fast, and they still are kind of hitting as fast as they can, but because they don't have their maximum 1,000 horsepower threshold up into the moment they're braking, they are going through there a lot more relaxed. They are just cruising through there, which I think has the negative effect of you're no longer pushing the limit. You're less susceptible to a mistake. But if you take the dirty air out of racing, like, racing will be so much better.
I'm on the fence. I need to see more. I'm not sold 100%. Yet. Yeah, I'm not sold yet. I agree. Like, the first 10 laps of that race were very entertaining. And we haven't seen racing like that in a long time, where there were a lot of moves up and down the grid. Yeah. And it wasn't just a case of making a move and then that's it. Yeah. Cars could fight back. Yeah. There was a strategy game there.
And let's not forget, Australia is a tough place to overtake as well. It's not an overtaking happy track. No. So, like, in the last generation car, you've only got really 2 overtaking zones, turn 11 and turn sort of 4 or 3. That's about it. So the fact that they were able to overtake into turn 9, they're able to overtake, into turn 1, like, these are traditionally not overtaking maneuvers. So that bodes well for tracks that are a bit more overtake happy. It's like China.
Well, clearly, the people in charge know a thing or two. They clearly went, okay, we have an overtaking problem. And so now they've corrected it. But it almost seems like... And this is where the artificial word sort of comes in a little.
Yeah.
It almost seems like they've overcorrected it. Like, now they've leaned too far into the...
If that's all we're complaining about, I think that's a good thing. If we're complaining that there's too much... Like, maybe the racing's a little bit... And people said the same thing about DRS. The overtaking's now artificial because the driver behind has such a big advantage. I've heard things like on social media, like it's real life Mario Kart, because you basically have power ups and things like this, so you can use your advantage against your opponents to make things happen. Yeah. But honestly, you look at some of the best, call it NASCAR, call it super trucks, stadium super trucks. Like, you've got gimmicks, but if it makes the racing better, happy days. That's the entertainment is.
Yeah, and I think this is why I'm on the fence. So I think it speaks volumes when you have someone like Max Verstappen, who I would regard as the number 1 race car driver in the world today.
I think he's tops that list, yeah.
And he doesn't want to race these cars. He's called it Formula E on steroids. He doesn't really understand the whole thing of, like, why are we slower? The cars are 3 seconds a lap slower than last year.
But that's...
he's a pure standard racer that he wants to go as fast as possible all the time, foot to the floor, pushing the limits. This requires a different style of driving. Yeah. And it almost does get to a point where, like, can you call it racing now? Like, is it now the fastest to the finish?
More the smartest.
Now it's the smartest. Now it's a strategy thing. So, I see both sides of things. But then last year, doing the podcast and, looking at a lot of historic information from, like, past races and things like that, I was really surprised. And you probably know this, but a lot of people wouldn't know this. I was really surprised at how... So the one that sticks out of my mind is Mexico. Mm-hmm. Now, I put together a stat sheet of the pole position times going back since the start of Mexico up until last year. Mm-hmm. The times were, like, basically the same. It kind of blew my mind a little bit that the pole laps in the 1980s were just as fast as today. Yeah. And because in my mind, I'm thinking these cars are more advanced than ever before. They should be faster, right? They should be blowing out times that the cars were doing back in the 80s, back in the 90s. But they weren't. They were pretty much very similar within a second or so.
Yeah.
So there's a part of me here that thinks, okay, maybe we've found like the maximum speed and performance you can from a car. We've hit the roof here. So now what do we do with F1 to make it more interesting? You know, what's the identity now that we've kind of like, the cars can't go faster than 330 Ks. Like we've hit the ceiling. They can't go faster than 340. Mm-hmm. So what's now another element we can introduce into the sport? Back then, there weren't these sorts of things, right? It was just pure pace. It was just raw engine power. And it was simpler, right? Now they have all this technology in it. We're still doing the same sort of speeds there or thereabouts, but now there's all these other elements that are being introduced into the sport. So I think that's good, but there is a side of me that yearns for that just, you know, balls to the wall, pure pace. You know, like I think watching last season and starting to watch this season, it's kind of really made me realize how much I miss the 2000s era of Formula One and the 2010s, that early era, where things were a little bit simpler. Yeah, we had a lot of boring races, and this race fell into the same classic fizzer Formula One race for a good chunk of it. Yeah. You know, so it does really make me question: have we stepped in the right direction, or have we just moved too far away now from what I think the core identity of the sport was? You know?
Every time they reset regs, their goal is to slow the cars down. So the cars being 2-3 seconds a lap slower, that's by design. Every time they do the reset, it's all about safety. Because cars, if they said from 1950 till now, you can just develop, they would be hovercraft rocket ships or something. Like the fact is they rein them back.
Fighter jets.
They rein them back and then you go again. And then like Brundle said, they'll be in 2-3 years, this exact same rule set and these exact same cars will be 3 seconds quicker than they are now because the development, but then they reset them. And
I understand that arc and I definitely appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing that too.
I mean, could you imagine if these cars had the battery, and again, they could, but they don't want that. If they had the battery capacity to survive a full lap of Australia, no super clipping, and they could just, magical recharge at the end of every lap and you go again, they would smash that time. I mean, these things have 1,000 horsepower. They're only 2 seconds behind lifting and coasting at 4 separate corners, hundreds of meters before. If they could go into turn 9 with that full 1,000 horsepower, hitting 340 Ks, carrying 340 Ks an hour instead of dropping to 280 before turn 9 for 200 meters, right there, that's probably a second. I'm no mathematician. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, if this set of regs, if they had battery to suit, and if they wanted that, they'd be way quicker. So it's all about, they do a reset. It allows teams to develop and get the cars, eventually down the line, as quick as they can be, like maximize. And that's what we saw last year. How many cars, like McLaren was a bit of an outlier for the most part, but like 4 or 5 teams within a second or within half a second, but within 4/10 half the time, you know what I mean? Because they'd all developed, they just got the maximum out of the rule set, which sounds like good racing, except when all the cars are that close, like you just don't generate good racing. And then you have the racing issues like dirty air because the cars are so big and they produce so much downforce, the turbulent air coming off the back of it is shocking. Yeah. So, it's hard to say. They have introduced a lot of gimmicks into the car this year in an effort to...
Gimmicks is a good word.
Yeah, in a way to promote overtaking and promote racing. And I think it'll work. But I'll tell you one thing I noticed. I don't know how long certain things will last because I think it was a Haas car, so I definitely noticed a couple of times. They were going down that turn 7, turn 8, like just that fast sweeping section with one hand on the wheel, playing with something. I don't know what he was playing with, but that's the whole reason
they're taking the corner with one hand.
Like the fast flat out corner where they're doing 340, especially in the Haas, they're the fastest car on the grid. They
actually weren't.
Oh, weren't they?
It was Colapinto. He got the speed record.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Anyway. They're all doing over 330 plus.
Fastest car, at least in a straight line.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. The Haas was going down, and whatever he was doing, I noticed it a couple of times throughout the race. He was playing with his steering wheel, but one-handed. And back before DRS, when they had the F duct, that's why they banned the F duct because drivers, they were blocking off the duct into their cockpit with one hand and driving one-handed, and that's when they banned the F duct and changed it into DRS.
Right.
So the fact that there's already drivers, I don't know what they're doing with the steering wheel and why they have to do it, but whatever they're doing, or at least the button placement of the Haas, like it's going to be whatever. If it's that car specific or all drivers are doing it, like that'll change.
I don't understand why. Because, like...
Well, you can't have drivers on 340 k's an hour driving with one hand.
But these guys are professionals, right?
Yeah.
They're pilots.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they know what they can handle and what they can't.
But
why does it need someone in a suit behind the scenes and some control panel to be like...
thinks they're invincible, and if they don't enforce safety, it's not there. You know what I mean? Every driver, if they were told, hey, you'll be half a second quicker if you can drive zero hand and drive with your knees, they'll find a way to get their knees up there.
Yeah.
Like to maximise the performance.
Look, if I can drive to work and steer with my knees and eat a burger at the same time, I'm sure these guys can operate a Formula One machine at 300 kilometres and not crash.
That's right. So, I was reading Jensen's book, like the one and only book I've ever read in my life. Jensen Button's book a couple of years ago.
You read a book?
Yeah. Jensen Button, he's good. And
I swear, you've changed. I don't know you anymore.
This was 5 years ago.
You're claiming you read a book. You told me the other day you're working out. I mean, you're about to, fade away. You've gotten so skinny. So,
I'm approaching your age.
I don't know who you are anymore.
It's scary. So I read Jensen's book, and I remember a certain chapter in there where he talks about the wing mirrors. And the wing mirrors are, important, aids, driving aids, seeing your cars around you and all this. And I remember him saying... The engineers would say to them, or if the FIA would ask, can you see anything in the mirrors? They would absolutely say, yeah. Even though there was no chance in hell they could see a thing because they're vibrating, oscillating that hard because they've got the minimum amount of, capacity holding it on there because the engineers have designed, for airflow, for everything. They've designed the shape of the mirror, the way they are held on there. And it was the same for every single team. Every single driver couldn't see a damn thing. But they're all like, yeah, I can see. It's all good. Just in the ability to be like, this is the best, wing mirror that is on the car. We don't want to change this and make it more sturdy
so what are you saying? See. All drivers are a bunch of liars. You can't trust them for nothing.
Exactly, yeah. When it comes to safety, they got no... Yeah. They'd be happily to not wear their friggin' fire suit to save that 200 grams.
So this is why you're on the podcast, because you read a book that I'm not willing to read and got some interesting insight that added to this specific scenario. So
it was a good book.
Bravo.
Yeah, thank you. It was a good book too. I'd recommend it for anyone out there. Jensen Button's book.
All right.
How to Be an F1 Driver, I believe it was called.
All right, stop plugging your boyfriend's book, okay?
That's enough. I like JB.
Yeah, I know you do.
I appreciate his outfit. I've been begging you to squeeze it into the pod.
Well, I know, and I'm refusing to because I don't see what you see. Anyway.
Because he's not Nico Rosberg.
Yeah, he's slick, isn't he? He's slick. He knows he's slick too.
Fast
he gets those silk shirts out. He makes sure he at least has 2-3 buttons undone. He's got that perfect whip. Like, how do you even do that?
I bet he smells unreal too.
Oh, he would. Yep. All right, so let's move on to the Mercedes win.
Yep.
We probably should talk about the drivers who won the race.
Yeah.
And I say drivers because, they were in the same car. They finished 1-2.
Yeah.
And that was despite Kimi having a little bit of a rough qualifying.
Rough practice.
Is that it? Is the season over? Can we hand the trophy already to Mercedes?
Again, do you want me to talk about Max in 2022 again?
Ferrari came
first and second in
10th ahead of the field in qualifying. And then what was it in the end? 14 seconds? 10 seconds?
Ahead of Ferrari? 14, 15 seconds, yeah.
I know that Lando
and that was from
an extra time than George.
Lando.
But he was still 51 seconds. He's supposed to be the defending champion.
Right.
So can we call it now? Is George Russell going to be the next world champion?
Look, he's been the bookie favourite since last year. So
it makes you wonder, how do they know?
Yeah.
Like all preseason we heard Mercedes are the favourites and it's going to be George Russell. He's in the books as number one. It's potentially going to be a battle between him and Max, but so far, we're yet to see. We're yet to see that. And Ferrari were always kind of pegged as they're going to be
the bridesmaid.
Exactly. And this is exactly what we saw this round.
I mean, I guess maybe testing does mean something. Slightly. Everything seems to come to fruition.
Even if we're not paying attention, somebody is.
Exactly right. I refuse to believe testing's real. Teams are still sandbagging. I don't know what Aston Martin are doing. Crack on. Take the sandbags out.
Well, they just like to crank up the degree of difficulty,
Yeah. We'll start. Yeah.
Adrian Newey's like, I've done everything in the sport. Yeah. I'm turning this bitch up to legendary.
Yeah. I'll give you a 5 race head start. Yeah. And I know 2 races are getting cancelled. We'll make it work. I mean, they just cleaned up. They looked absolutely fine and reliable was the biggest thing through practice. A lot of teams, McLaren, a lot of teams had issues in Aston Martin endlessly. Like every team had practice issues, even if it's little things like Lewis Hamilton, whatever that blue LED situation was. Like even just little teething issues. Like every team had something except
So Mercedes.
Yeah, unless you come in, you've been your baby. This thing that is just on rails, and you bin it. Besides that little hiccup, that nearly derailed his weekend.
Well, I said it on a stream, didn't I? Where he binned it, they were able to get the car together,
which is unreal. By the way,
he had 10 seconds left to set a lap.
Yeah.
So by the time you get around the lap to set your out lap, you're looking at 7 seconds between him. And
that doesn't happen if Max doesn't bring out a red.
Well, yeah.
And a pretty lengthy one, too.
That is very true. I did see the memes of, Max shielding Kimi from all the...
Yeah, that's a good one.
Classic meme.
I mean, when we saw that car through quali, it was taped up, too. Like, they didn't give it a fresh cut and polish. It was barely put back together. Yeah. It was enough to get a sign off and
pretty sure I saw some bubble gum holding...
exactly,
something else.
Some sellotape, it was... we saw, what they were trying to do to the little crack on Lando's wing, that his front spoiler, which didn't work, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Clearly.
And they just sent Kimi out there with duct tape covering all the holes in his side pod, and he was able to go out there and put it into second place.
It does make me wonder if he didn't balls that up and they legitimately were fighting for pole and it was a, first and second situation, does Kimi put pressure on George to try and snag that win?
I think we saw last year. He has the potential. He'll take some wins this year.
Oh, he will. I have no doubt he will.
Against George, not luck wins. Like he'll have some races for sure where he'll be on par or quicker than George.
Mm.
He's going to scare him.
Oh, yeah. I think George he probably still has the edge right now, but he's going to feel Antonelli breathing right down his neck.
Yeah.
And I just hope it feels like one of those situations for George potentially where all the pieces are lined up for him to become a world champion. And it's hilarious that drivers like Lando and him are potentially going to be world champion before someone like a Leclerc. And this could be his one and only window of opportunity, because if they've got this young, hotshot driver who's just blowing everyone's expectations out of the water, and we're potentially looking at the next Max Verstappen, right?
Yeah, record-breaking rookie season.
You got that kid in your team, in the garage next door, who looked pretty unflappable too. I'm sure at some point the team is going to make it pretty known that, this is the future here. So hurry up, George.
I just hope Mercedes show McLaren how you manage two drivers. I know you keep saying, they don't do the 1-2 thing. I think that's bullshit. I think they will let this year play out. If Kimi comes out in China and puts 3/10 on George through quali and just runs his own race and they end up even pegging going into round 3, it's on. I don't think they're going to pretend like McLaren pretended it's fair. I think they will play a fair fight.
Okay, so there's probably not really a lot to talk about with Mercedes because they just have the best car.
Yeah.
So, hooray for them, hooray for George, hooray for Kimi. But at the end of the day,
thing is their competition is incredibly stupid.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, their biggest competitor right now is still shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
So, but
Ferrari's biggest competitor is Ferrari.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Mercedes' biggest competitor is also Ferrari.
Yeah, they're 2v1ing before,
Exactly.
We'll talk about Ferrari a little bit later. But before we move into the categories, which is where I will save Ferrari, I thought we could just spend a little bit of time talking about Lando Norris's championship defense. So it's off to a very rocky start.
Could be worse. To be honest, what did he finish 5th?
Finished 5th. He did hold off Max Verstappen. And it's funny how both of those drivers were both pointing the finger at each other. It's like, he's got the better car. No, he's got the better car.
It's a Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, it was, Norris is pointing at Verstappen going...
But that's what they did last year as well.
Well, yeah.
Norris is like, we don't have the best car.
Yeah. He's going, he did because he made up 15 positions. Yeah. So he's clearly got the better car. And then Verstappen's going, well, I couldn't pass him. So he's got the better car.
So this is what each of them don't understand. Red Bull, Max is right. We don't have a good car. Max is just a hero. McLaren are like, fucker. What are you doing? Don't talk shit about us.
Yeah.
We've given you a great car. We just gave you a world championship car 2 years in a row, you fucker. Tell the media we've given you a good car.
So I don't know if you remember, but pre-season, Max was already complaining about these cars. And Lando said in the media, then quit. If you don't like the cars, then quit. Now who's changed his tone? Now that he doesn't have this, rocket ship that he had last year, now all of a sudden he's going... We had the best car in Formula 1 history last year, now to one of the worst cars in Formula 1 history.
Sorry, Sunshine. This is how Formula 1 works.
That's how it works. But it's like, okay, your opinion doesn't really count because you won it last year. that like you had the best car. That is what it came down to. That it was really a two-horse race. Yeah. And you acted like idiots, and you let the third horse into the race and almost snag it out from underneath you. Yeah. But you can't now go, oh, you're right. Yeah. Like these cars suck now that it doesn't suit you and your driving style.
Yeah. But it doesn't suit anyone's driving style, and that's what makes it a good race car. Look at the return of Hamilton a little bit here. It's because, and it's the same with the Schumacher, Max Verstappen. There's drivers out there who can drive around a car's issues, and these cars, you have to drive them. They're not, you just turn in, the thing turns and there's no dramas. Like, there's a reason they were talking about cancelling the straight line mode or whatever between turn 7 and 8 is because, there's a chance the driver might have to lift here. Mm-hmm. Well, good. You push to the limit, you feel, it's not going right, you lift a little, and that's what makes you fast, as opposed to another driver who's lifting way early because they're scaredy pants. That's what makes a good driver, and a Lance Stroll.
Yeah, so his title defense is looking pretty shaky at this point.
But, it was round 1. Let's not get too crazy. But I did call it. He may give Jacques Villeneuve a run for his money.
Well, that's where I'm kind of going with this. Yeah. But interesting that he's changed his tone very quickly too. It's not like he's waited to change his tone in round 3, round 4, round 5. It's literally the first weekend back. He's gone. Okay, these cars suck. I don't like them. Yeah.
It's funny. You just I've got to drive these cars. They don't just drive for me. I don't just get in it and the thing just goes.
Mm-hmm. No. Okay, so let's move into the categories then. Mm-hmm. So now last year we had 10 categories, and we would sort of nominate who we felt earned that category or the achievement. Yeah. So this year we thought we might just change it up a little bit, and we're going to nominate who we think
may deserve it.
Made like they're a nominee. Yeah. They're a finalist for the achievement.
Definition of nominated. Nominations, if you will.
I know you've only read one book, so
don't confuse me.
Well, I know you're confused easily. So
it's true.
So we've got 5 categories. We've narrowed it down to the top 5, and then there's 3 nominees per category, and we award who gets it. Yeah. So you with me?
A lot of numbers.
Yeah. Okay. So the first category, as always, is the final boss achievement. So typically it goes to who we think was the final boss of the round. So your nominees for the Melbourne Grand Prix are Mercedes.
Okay.
Finishing 1 and 2. Pretty obvious. Mm-hmm. They were the dominant force out there. So, they fit that final boss.
Monica.
Yeah. That's the word. I mean, that wasn't the word I was thinking of, but I like it.
But you like it? Yeah. Well, it hits the mark, doesn't it?
Do you know how to spell it?
It's got a Q in it, I reckon.
Definitely an M at least.
Do I look like my name's Oxford?
Okay, Max Verstappen for his run from P20 to P6. Very final boss worthy.
Okay.
And the third nominee is Franco Colapinto for his cat-like reactions and somehow not cleaning up Liam Lawson. I have watched that footage.
Alpine were very happy to post it on their socials. That was the highlight of their race. Yeah.
You even watch it in slow-mo and you're like, it doesn't make sense. And like the amount of oversteer he gets, and I don't know if he taps the wall or not because the camera kind of just
which makes you think he did. There's no point ruining a good story with the truth. Yeah, that he hit the wall a little bit. I'm pretty confident he hit the wall watching it live. That was quite something.
That was something. I mean,
I'm disappointed. I would have loved if he wiped him out. Don't get me wrong.
We haven't been the biggest fans of Colapinto due to
Lawson.
Or Lawson.
Who was looking at rear ending.
True. Yeah. He was about to take it up the arse. Yeah. But I got to hand it to him. That is incredible. There are not many people in the world that could have pulled off that.
And that is pure instinct and reaction.
Oh, yeah.
Like that is...
And this is someone he's not a seasoned pro, right?
No. So, and that's the thing. It could have happened anyway. Like your best of the best. That's a 1 in 100 miss. 99 other times you're collecting him. Like it's got nothing to do with the fact that he's Franco Colapinto. Right?
Well, not even like a little bit of a wing clipped the tire. Like completely.
He made sure his whole car missed him.
Unbelievable.
I mean, it was even still the fact. I mean, straight away, the last year's cars wouldn't happen.
Yeah,
they're too big. But even the fact that new car, you're not as tuned to where the corners of the car is. So you really
good point.
You really nailed it. I mean, again, watching in the super slow mo, you can see he goes full right, but then. He even goes full left before he's clear. Like he even understands how much understeer he's going to get going full lock. He starts going full lock before he's even clear, and then the car, understeers just perfect to
even
hit
more
the gap.
So he he goes to the left and then he kind of gets jammed out. So he goes to the right and you can see that he's losing space there. So there's a brief moment where he turns left again, but realizes like he can't go there. So he quickly snaps back to the right. So he's even aiming back at the car
and
for a moment there.
And this is in 0.6 of a second, right? And he's making all these decisions.
0.6?
Yeah, of a second.
How much is that?
That's a lot in my time. That's a lot of my time. I don't know about you. Yeah, so.
Okay, so
we've spoken a lot about. I kind of want to give it to him.
I know. I was just going to say we're giving him the final prize.
I think so. I mean, he went on for a solid, 15th position probably.
Meanwhile, his teammate did collect a point. So yeah.
And so did Lawson's teammate. So between the two of them,
look, I'm happy to give it to him.
They avoided that collision for a whole lot of nothing.
Well, that's true. You may as well just wrap it up.
Exactly. You might as well just call it
good point. We can't give it to him. Yeah, because it didn't actually amount
to
something great.
Good maneuver of Franco. That'll be the highlight of his year. So he got that out early, which is good.
All right, so Max.
I don't want to give it to Max. He's done better than that. And when he hit his real first bit of competition, he couldn't do a whole lot with him.
Good point. This is like.
I would like to think if Hadjar didn't DNF, he also wouldn't have passed him. To be fair.
Well, that is very good. That is a very good point. This is classic Max. We've seen him do this before, haven't we?
Yeah.
So
I think we saw those first 4 laps. I think a lot of drivers were doing a lot of learning. The fact that we had so much going on, I think he took advantage of that for starters to move up. I mean, he was 16th by the end of lap 1, and then he just carved his way through, and then momentum slowed a little as he got to slightly faster cars. So I think he took massive advantage of the fact that no one knew what the fuck they were doing with his battery. Everyone was just shooting their load very early, and he was able to make the most of it. But then,
what did he say? He said it wasn't really racing; it was just clearing traffic.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he got. But then once he got to his real first, with Hadjar already out of the way, his first competition was Norris. Yeah, or if you will, Lindblad, and he gave him a run for his money, and he really did make it hard for Max to pass, and in a car that he should have been able to be given free passage or make an easy overtake on.
What am I hearing here?
It's Mercedes.
It's Mercedes. It's Mercedes.
It's a roundabout way of going. It's to people we've already talked a lot about.
Yeah, he collected pole. He got the win. Yeah. Kimmy finished.
And Mercedes not just George because I mean the pole, the second in qualifying, the rebuild after P3 in only 3 hours, less than 3 hours.
Averted disaster.
I mean, straight away the commentators, I 100% agree with them. I'm like, I mean, you're looking at. When you get rear impact like that, the suspension was gone. You're looking at a gearbox. You're looking at chassis floor damage. I don't know how they got away with not replacing that floor, that chassis. The fact that they got that repaired and then he goes and converts to second, like after you have a knock like that in a weekend, your expectations drop a lot. So,
all right. Congratulations to Mercedes for winning our final boss achievement.
Congrats.
Okay, so the next achievement is the noob achievement. So your nominees are, and it pains me to say this, Oscar Piastri for not making the starting grid.
Yeah.
Liam Lawson for his lackluster start. He made the starting grid, but didn't do much with it.
Yeah.
So, and option C, Ferrari for their pit strategy.
Look, that's tough because I do feel like Ferrari at least took himself out of the fight. I don't know if they would have had the pace to win it. They clearly didn't have the pace overall. But they lost their opportunity. I don't know what the fuck they were doing, but they just lost their opportunity to fight for the win. I just got to give it to Oscar, though. I do feel like that is a new maneuver.
Ouch. You want to give it to Oscar?
I started this episode with he broke my heart, okay? And I hold grudges.
Yeah. Look.
And Lawson's just doing Lawson things, so.
I'm reluctant to give it to Oscar because I'm loyal to my guy.
Where's your shirt? Where's your shirt? And you had to prove it.
Do you know how much those fucking things are?
I'm aware, which is why I also don't know one.
Do you know how much all this shit cost? How much of this did you can buy me a shirt.
Chris left it all here when he bailed.
You can buy me a shirt and just at least contribute something. Okay. Anyway,
who I don't know. The beers for the last 2 weeks, huh? Heine's are not cheap.
$20 I know is like a stretch for you. So
$12. Yeah. You got carded?
No, 20 for the two.
I got carded.
You got carded?
Yeah.
No way.
I got carded.
What? You got your birthday on your freaking arm right there? What? They can't read?
I was wearing my uniform. I got carded. Yeah. I looked at her sideways too.
Okay, so I'm reluctant to give it to Oscar because there's still part of me that thinks that if it is 50-50, part driver, part car, then that's enough for me to get him off the hook.
Okay.
Liam Lawson for a start, that was pretty putrid, but I think most drivers were probably there was a lot. Even I think Max had a pretty poor start. I think there was
he didn't drop to last.
No,
I mean he could have very easily. So he started
first time in a racing simulation that a lot of these drivers had to deal with it. Fair pass.
Like I said, it's also Lawson.
Ferrari,
the expectations are pretty low.
In my opinion, Ferrari should know better. They're a team that they are Formula One. Why are they still doing stupid mistakes like this? You've got Lewis Hamilton, who looks like he's been reborn. Yeah. He's now Mr. Positivity. From what we saw last year, he's all smiles. I don't know what the hell Kim Kardashian has done to him, but whatever it's done, it has worked.
Yeah, I bet it did.
I'm sure that not many men
but it worked real good.
would probably be unhappy in life with her. But my train of thought's gone. They should know better. They should know better. How are they not pitting one of those cars? I know you want to stick with her, but we're going to move on. How are they not pitting one of those guys? And even Lewis adds the second Ferrari, who technically doesn't have pit preference. Even he called them out. He's like, guys, why are we not pitting? What are we doing?
Even if you pit Charles, just pit Charles. Give him a chance to win the thing.
Yes.
I'll take you back real quick to the...
What, Kim K? Again?
No. See, what is wrong with you? Get off her. To the 2018...
I'm not on her. Lewis is.
Yeah, I bet. 2018 US Grand Prix the retro race we did last year. Kimi Räikkönen won that race.
Sure.
And that race, throughout the retelling, the biggest highlight was they pitted near the driver under VSC, which...
I do remember.
At the time, the commentators, this is 8 years ago, but the commentators were like, it's such a strange maneuver. Why would you not... It's free pit stop. But this is, again, Ferrari just don't adapt. Mind you, Kimi won that race that day, but there was a lot of extenuating circumstances that led to that happening.
But I guess if you're banking on a race to have a safety car or a late safety car, this is probably the race. You do got to wonder
if that second VSC didn't close the pit lane when it did, how things may have changed for them. But they still would have lost the lead because they're only 7 seconds up the road, but they would have come out a heck of a lot closer. So that's a little lull moment.
Yeah.
If they were like, it'll be a second VSC, we'll be right. Oh, yeah, second VSC. And then to allow the pit lane to be open for one lap and then it closes before they can get in is just
okay, so it sounds
hilarious.
Awfully like you are pretty much set on Oscar wearing this one.
Well, yeah, I'm just gutted. I'm just gutted.
Just for the record.
What a noob.
Just for the record, so we can move on. I am not of the opinion that it's Oscar's fault. He can do no wrong. Let's move on. Buffed. So the buffed achievement. So this is typically a car team driver that has had the biggest performance increase. Usually it's like race to race.
Yep.
But I guess technically
this is round one. It's pretty
round one. Yep. So from last race or at least last season. So your nominees are Sauber to Audi. Points on debut.
Yeah.
Pretty big buff right there. I think that's, they can be happy down in that garage for sure. And with with Bortoletto, the new kid, not Hulk. Your second nomination is Formula One in general, getting a buff. Your third nomination, Behrman, P7 and a half.
Okay.
So there was a few I could go on here. Lindblad as a rookie.
Yeah.
He had a pretty good race.
He did.
But, he's a rookie. We don't really have anything to compare to.
Yeah.
He's in a racing ball. He did a good job.
He's clearly a pretty speedy.
But
both of them qualified in the 10.
Behrman has continued his form from last year. He's still on an upwards trajectory.
Yeah.
Here, so.
Well, see, that's why that bores me because Haas last year...
Don't get me wrong. P7 is nothing to be stoked about.
Yeah. And Haas last year weren't too bad. Behrman's clearly an absolute gun. Yeah, if he was on the podium, he could convince me. Okay. But I'm pretty bored by that.
So rule him out?
Pretty bored by a P7 Haas. Even the Audi thing. It's like, yep, they're a new team. But Sauber weren't too shabby last year, you may remember. They did some decent things. Hell, I don't know what was going through my head, but I was calling maybe Bortoletto for Rookie of the Year. He was doing that well. So, in a race where, it wasn't actually that... the attrition rate wasn't as high as everyone was expecting. There was 3 mechanical DNFs, or maybe 5 in the end, including the 2 Astons, which probably didn't even need to DNF. They probably just had enough. Called it a day.
Yep.
You had Oscar failure. So, I'm not that surprised that Audi were able to muster up points on their debut, especially 2 points. Again, top 5, you're pushing the envelope a little. What was the third? I forget.
Formula One in general.
Yes, that's a good. Yeah. Okay. See, I think. Even though 90% of that race was pretty boring, I think the potential... I'm still on high at the thought of China.
Yeah.
Not China. The track, the race. The Chinese Grand Prix has me very excited.
Yeah.
You know. And I think that's good for the sport. I feel like a lot of people will
just
be feeling that way.
Just a for China there.
Yeah, I just didn't want to be very careful. I think that's exciting. We saw this. Yeah, Thursday was the highest fan day for a Thursday. It's like 83,000 people on a Thursday. Formula 1 didn't even hit the track.
I was going to say,
people were there just
they
for...
didn't even race on that day.
No, people were there just for the supports and the vibes and to look at the cars. You know, people... And I think Friday, or Saturday, one of them fell like 2,000 short of the record.
Either that or they thought Kim K might be on track, and they were all the new like teeny bopper fans and stuff were all like hoping to get a...
Maybe. I mean, I was surprised to see. We're talking on the live.
I thought they were all there for Pat Cummins, but yeah, apparently no one cares.
So. No, he was standing there like he mattered. Wrong sport, brother. He
no, tell you what, it was great to see a celebrity grid walk. That included Pat Cummins.
Well, you won't see it
Australian
again.
Test cricket captain.
Yeah. See, you got to explain him.
Oh yeah, I know.
You got to explain.
I know. We got a motorsport fan base, but.
Yeah, but we were talking about I was like, oh man, the grid seems pretty empty compared to Australia, not many celebs. Bang, Terry Crews. Always.
It did feel like
there.
the biggest celebrity turnout for an Australian Grand Prix, didn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that's all I saw Terry Crews as far as celebrity goes. Kim K couldn't even rock up for her boyfriend. I mean, come on.
Yeah, a little rude.
Do you really have to put out another season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians? Call it a day. Call it a day.
What? You need something to watch on the
There's plenty
of
a backlog. There's plenty of backlog. I was thinking about starting a pod.
You would know.
Yeah. I mean, there's the synchronization there now between the Kardashians and Formula 1.
Is there?
There's a link there now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, here's a link. So I think Formula 1 as a whole has the biggest buff. I mean, we said it last year. Formula 1 have us in this weird stranglehold where it kind of sucks, but everyone just keeps rocking up and it's great and it's fantastic.
It keeps like ensnaring new fans too.
Somehow. But at least now there's anticipation. Like last season was exciting because Oscar was in it and every race was potential for him to win. And I don't know, going to China, there's like almost no chance. But I'm excited to see how these cars are going to go in China, what type of racing there's going to be, It's just exciting. I'm more excited than ever for every Grand Prix.
I agree. I said it on the stream again as well, that one of the moments I'm looking forward to the most is how these cars cope on that long back straight in China and, the front straight of Baku. How is that going to look in terms of doing battle with other cars? So
it's going to be,
it does have me not like, I just can't wait to see what that looks like next week.
You're going to have half a kilometre of boost. And then half a kilometre of super clipping where they just slow right down. Everyone's just chilling. And then they'll go again.
They'll hit 330, then fall back to 280, and then start climbing back up to 330. So literally yo-yoing.
It's going to be strange. Then you're going to have drivers offset their discharge. Then you're going to have them zooming past, and then they're going to be zooming back past. It's going to look like a Skeletrix track.
Look, I'm happy to award it to Formula 1 in general as getting the biggest buff. I think for me, the biggest surprise
and they didn't even need it.
No, they didn't even need it. For me, the biggest surprise is your take on this. I was really certain that you weren't going to like this new style of racing and these new regs. So I've been very surprised by you as a pretty diehard, long-standing F1 fan, kind of a traditionalist, that you've really opened up.
Well, I'll take you back to 2012.
You're a woke Formula 1
I don't.
viewer now.
No, that's fake news. 2012, they had 9 different race winners the first 9 races. Now, we're not going to see anything like that. We're not going to see 9 different race winners the next 3 years. But the fact is, you had racing. And that is all I can ask for. I want to sit down and watch a race, especially after spending my weekends watching NASCAR, and V8 supercars were on track at Melbourne. And their racing was pretty damn good too. So you just want to sit down and watch a race where there's overtaking, there's potential for things to happen, and last year was just not that. So it's a refreshing change, and it seems so far to be in the right direction. Yeah, there's gimmicks. Yeah, there's this weird battery thing and unorthodox overtakes and all this stuff.
Max might quit the sport. Well, he's continue to threaten
to. I'm not a Maxi fanboy. So. He'll continue to threaten until they... Okay, Max. We'll get rid of the battery. Yeah. We'll just have cars that top out at 270. Because they're V6 1.6 litres.
Yeah, what'd you say? Toyota Camrys?
Yeah, we're racing Toyota Camrys.
Okay, we've got to move on. So we'll agree Formula 1 in general gets the biggest buff.
Yeah.
So the next category is the nerfed achievement. Nerfed is basically the exact opposite of buffed, in case you don't know.
Yeah.
It's the biggest decrease in performance.
Race to race,
year on year. So your nominees are, number 1 is Williams. Pretty self-explanatory. I don't need to go into too much detail there.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is I've gone Isaac Hadjar. So we'll get into it, but obviously he's in that second seat. But he looked like the guy that was going to do the most in that second seat and do basically what he should be doing before it was undone by something not in his control. So literally did get nerfed and taken out of the race.
Yep.
The third is the timing pole for the lack of information year on year. Yep. So a bit of a downgrade on the timing pole. So timing pole, just in case you're an idiot and you haven't really watched F1, or maybe you just go to the live races, so you've never actually seen the timing pole. But timing pole on the left has all the drivers, has their intervals, has the times. Yeah. It seems to be quite a downgrade year on year.
I think so. So, I mean, straight away, Sky Sports probably on a different package to everyone else. So this may just be an us thing.
Well, that's true.
But first thing I noticed was we're now just doing tenths of a second gap. And I don't know if it's because they dropped DRS, so you don't need to know how close within a second they are.
Well, they knew that the field was going to be spread over 15 seconds over a qualifying
over
lap.
2 laps.
And not 1 second. So,
but still, it just seemed like a very... Yeah, they used to go to the thousandth of a second. Yeah. And again, it was great in the DRS era where you'd be like, he's gaining half a tenth a lap.
Earlier in the pod, you said, I'm not a math guy, but here you are begging for more numbers.
I want tenths, hundredths, thousands. All right? That's all I want. Right. I don't want just tenths. Tenths is baby stuff.
This is the traditionalist in you coming
in a sport
through.
Where they're supposed to be, a tenth of a second matter, a hundredth of a second matter.
I didn't even notice it until you pointed it out. And even then I still went,
well, it frustrated
I'm here to watch the cars, not the timing pole, but yeah.
Ideally, you might lose a tenth of the car ahead over like 3 or 4 laps. And you don't know. If it just sits at 0.6 of a second the whole time, you're like, is he getting closer? Is he getting further away? I don't know.
Last week you mentioned that you wrote an email to Codemasters to implement some changes on the
F1 game.
For 2014, something
17, 18.
Maybe you should write another email.
I should, to
Sky Sports.
Yeah, just let them know.
Add those extra 2 zeros.
Yeah,
or
and
two
then the other thing, the other thing that was missing is, and I say missing is that I don't think I've ever had it, but, just like a tally to count how many positions up or down drivers are. Mm-hmm. I wanted to know, I know Max is 20th, but when he's 6th, I'm like, well, how many spots is that? I want to know who's moving around.
As a non-math guy, yep,
exactly. I want to know, just make it easy for me. Don't make me think.
Okay, so are you basically locking in on the timing pole, getting the biggest nerf?
I mean, no. I think Williams, I do think that needs an upgrade, but they'll tweak it. I think Williams year on year is probably the obvious one. They were pretty competitive last year, and again, it's round 1. We're overreacting like crazy, but they definitely didn't seem to have any pace. And again, in a race when, 5 or 6 cars failed to finish and Audi are up in the points and things like this, they had the potential of
finishing lower than what they actually did too. Yeah.
Well, exactly. Yeah, they could be, one of the 3 worst teams at this point, potentially.
Yeah,
for a team that they were just skyrocketing.
Oh yeah, we're all on the hype train for sure.
James Vowles all over the TV again, like, this guy's rebuilding Williams. And they've taken quite a step back. They're still Mercedes power, right? They've still should have the best engine on the grid. And not doing anything with it.
Okay, I'll make a case for Hadjar here. That second seat we know is tough. And it has been tough for a long time. He comes out and he puts it on 3rd.
Yeah. I think he was quicker than him through practice as well. Yeah,
I think that is bravo. Pre-season coming out of last year, I did say I reckon this guy is going to give Max his toughest competition that we've seen since probably Daniel Ricciardo, and even then that was a little bit,
Don't finish that.
And then he comes out in Melbourne, he puts it on 3rd, and then he's making a good crack at that race, and he looks like he's going to outperform Max, and sure, Max probably had some sort of failure that put him into the wall, but he did what was expected of that number 2 seat, and, was unlucky enough for his power unit to just die out on him and take him out of the race. Yeah. Now, the reason why I'm sort of arguing that he got the biggest nerfed is because we know how cursed that seat is. How many opportunities is he going to get to potentially podium or at least be in that top 5 to score a bag of points?
Beat Max on pace.
And just to be taken out by something that's not in his control. Yeah. How many times is he going to have an opportunity to outperform Max Verstappen? I don't think many. So it's super unlucky that this has happened.
Yeah, it's true.
This is how he started his Red Bull debut. He's announced he's here. he looks fast, he looks aggressive, and he's taken out of it. That hurts. I can see why he's emotional about it, because these opportunities aren't going to come often.
You're right. How often is Max going to qualify 20th? So I see you there. I think he'll have opportunities. Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know how often he'll out-qualify him. I mean, he seemed to have the pace on him in through practice, but it was very close. Like it was, I think they were in the quality runs through P3. They were, within one position of each other. He only just pipped him. And obviously Max is full of complaints this weekend. So yeah, you're probably right. As far as just trying to get a run on the board, start your Red Bull career ahead of Max. And like I said, I don't think Max would have passed him.
Okay.
Or, I don't think he would have passed him through the race. Unless Red Bull told him to move over, which wouldn't have happened. You probably won't see him finishing ahead of Max in China or round 3, and then we have a month off.
Yeah. So I agree with your notion that I am right. So we'll give it to Isaac Hadjar. Yeah. Okay, so the final category before we move on to the Easter egg is AFK. So I guess it's basically who wasn't there. So you're... The obvious contender, number 1, is Aston Martin for their whole debacle of a weekend. Yep. Which was no secret. We knew this, a week going in, maybe even longer, that this was sort of going to be how it was going to go down for them. Yep. Nico Hülkenberg for his DNS, and still no explanation why. No one called it out. No one saw it.
They didn't even mention it during the broadcast.
It wasn't until, a couple laps in, we were like, wait, why are there 2 cars that are DNS? What happened to the other one? Yeah.
It's still a 20-car grid?
Still a 20-car grid, yeah. And the third one, a little cheeky one here, but Lando Norris's WDC defense looks like it has gone potentially missing about that already. So.
I do feel like... I think it's just got to go to Hulk. I think... what was the other one?
Aston Martin.
See, I think the opposite. They were there. Well, that's all we could hear about. That's all we heard about all weekend was another issue for Aston Martin, and it's all related to the vibrations, and it's causing battery issues. And then they got nerve damage, potential nerve damage for driving the car. If anything, it actually sounds like they had quite a nice race compared to what they were expecting and what they told the media they were going to put out for the race. They actually had quite a stellar effort.
Well, they said maximum 15 laps?
Max 15 for Lance, 25 for Fernando. Lance trucked through 15. I don't know if he's, trying to make a point or what, but
that titanium in his wrist must be stronger than even he thought.
Yeah. And then Alonso, this is something we've never seen before. Pits to do some repairs and then comes back out. That is not a Formula 1 thing.
And you said that you have to remain in the car, but I'm pretty sure I heard that they were able to exit the car and refresh and look at data and stuff, and then they got back in and continued on. I don't think they had to.
So I don't think so. It's definitely the rule. Like, as far as I'm aware, the rule: if you abandon your car, you're done. If you get any assistance to get in your car,
I'm sure
they look at all the data in that car. You see it during quality. They put the TV down in front of him, all the rest of it. Yeah, they can have a drink in the car. I think you'd find he did not get out of that car.
I'd like to know.
So he would have sat in there for 15 laps, just in that probably relatively uncomfortable cockpit, just to be told, hey, you have to go back out here and drive this hunk of shit.
All right, I'm happy to give it to Nico Hülkenberg, just being that he literally just disappeared off the back of the grid.
No one said anything.
No one noticed. And we still haven't had an answer as to what actually happened.
Exactly.
That's technical reasons. So yeah. Okay, so the final category is where we have a stat or a fact from the Grand Prix that we introduce.
Yeah, we like to share.
Yeah. I now have a feeling that we probably saw the same one, which if we do, I think well, I was going to say, I think it shows to the impressive nature of maybe the stat. So give me your Easter egg first.
There was 120.
It is the same.
Yeah, overtakes this race compared to, or 120 or more. Yeah. Overtakes compared to 45 in last year's event.
I almost don't believe it. Like,
it sounds
3 times the amount, and yet somehow 60% of the race was boring?
Yeah. I mean,
where were the other 100 overtakes?
What were the cameras doing? You do got to wonder. But if it's the case, and even still, I was like 45 last year, you could have fooled me.
Don't forget, a lot of cars crashed, and then it was wet. So overtaking was probably
I wonder if they
go difficulty.
Oscar, he was 5th. and then he was 22nd.
yeah.
That's so 15 overtakes or whatever.
You know what? You're probably right. They probably have included that.
You know, and then Hulk, I don't know where he qualified, maybe 18th, and there's another 4. So straight away, you're starting with 20. You start with 20 overtakes before the race even starts. Yeah. And then you go into turn 1, you got, he goes, then he drops out.
We had 100 overtakes in the first 10 laps, and then nothing for the subsequent
right. Or you got
30.
On lap 1, you have about 50 with all the jostling into turn 1, and then, that may be the only thing that affects it. But regardless, 120 overtakes sounds like a nuts amount in an hour and a half for racing.
Yeah, I was very surprised to see that. I would never have guessed that figure in a million years if you asked me.
I would have liked to have known lead changes in comparison to years gone by, because we spoke about this about NASCAR a couple of weeks ago. We spoke about it. Their lead changes just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then in Formula 1, you may have one.
Yeah.
Not including pits cycle. Mm-hmm. You may get
one actual genuine
one or two,
overtake for the
maybe,
lead.
Lead changes.
Okay.
And then this race, we saw there'd be two lead changes per lap for the first 4 or 5 laps. So we might have had double-digit lead changes this race, maybe. And how often does that happen?
So either we were both pretty amazed and blown away by the stat, or we were both just super lazy and looked at the same post.
I may have Googled what was the best stat from Melbourne Grand Prix and let Google AI tell me the answer.
You chat GPT, you AI'd it.
Hey, but you found the same thing, which proves that the AI was correct.
Yeah, so so what it proves is we're using the same AI platforms. So
could be right.
Last week we mentioned that we're going to do the F1 Fantasy League.
Yep.
We've never done it before. We're still figuring it out. I'm still looking at it as confused as ever.
We're learning on the go. That's the fun part.
So I just wanted to quickly end the episode with the Fantasy League. Yeah. So we didn't have a great outing. Our driver...
That's because our A driver may not have started the race.
He may not have completed a single lap in the Grand Prix. So
that hurts, I reckon.
Yeah. And we had our 2 times bonus on him as well. So,
wow. What's 2 times 0? I mean, we should just get it back, really.
Well, yeah, it's 00, which Sky Sports don't even know how to do anymore, So, so just to remind everyone, our driver picks were Oscar Piastri, Valtteri Bottas, so great start already there.
One DNS, one DNF.
Carlos Sainz.
Yep, no points.
Isaac Hadjar.
DNF, wow.
And Bortoletto.
Hey!
So
you got 2 points.
Really... We had one driver out of,
and he was
out of the 5.
He was one of our
so
last resort. Let's just pick a driver.
Well, if this was a competition to pick who wasn't going to finish the race, we would have aced that shit. We managed to pick.
We even picked the right Red Bull driver. We picked the right driver of each team that had one DNF between the 2 cars.
So bravo to us. So naturally, all of our drivers have lost value, except for Bortoletto. He's gone up. And then our teams were Williams and Ferrari. So Ferrari turned out to be a good pickup for us, coming 3rd and 4th there. So
because we couldn't afford Mercedes.
Because we couldn't afford Mercedes, which I'm sure that, I think in the F1 league, actually, hang on, The
funny thing is people probably would have gone Mercedes and then maybe
and then George.
Audi, and then George, but then they also would have picked Bortoletto, got points. There'd be someone out there who would have nailed it.
And we didn't want to play like that.
Yeah,
there were the obvious answers.
You want to pick some average stuff to hopefully get more points instead of picking your big driver.
Yeah. So we're not doing too good in the league, as you can imagine. Okay. Now, do you want to make any changes to those pairings, or do you want to just ride with them, see how they go in China?
I just wish. I think Audi and I'm guessing we can't afford to do it now, but I wish we picked Audi instead of Cadillac.
And I'm pretty sure that
you may have said that, but I don't know if we would have afford it, because like you said, Audi was $500,000 more.
Yeah,
and you said we nailed the full amount.
Yeah,
so it may not have been possible, but that's probably the biggest thing. We picked the wrong shit team.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
they are not very quick.
Well, Williams has gained value.
That's because they actually finished. I guess.
Well, yeah, they had Albon.
Sell them and buy out.
What did I say? 12th and 15th, I think. So, yeah, but I'm happy to run this pair.
I reckon. I think we're still
partially because I don't know how the fuck this app works, and I don't know how to make changes, and half of our picks lost value.
Yeah. So we're worth less.
Yeah.
You don't want to sell low.
It's cost us money this weekend.
And if you sell Bottas, I bet you'll cheeky 5th in China.
Yeah.
They'll be screaming. They'll shut the pot down.
Let's run it back then. Yeah. And we'll check in again next week and see how we do.
Not to mention we ran long, and we want to figure this out live. Yeah. Just so we look stupid.
Yeah.
So hopefully next week we run a little early.
Speak for yourself, all right?
So we run a little early. We can spend more time trying to figure it out in front of everyone.
China, we're going to have to wait literally 4 days to start seeing some on-track action. Yeah. Very keen. We're going to do another live stream for the Chinese Grand Prix. So I think as of this recording, we're sitting somewhere between 130, 140 views on the live stream. So we had people dip in and out. So if you did, thanks for popping in and not making your presence known.
Yeah. Feel free to comment.
But yeah, we're going to run it back. So if you want to jump on and ask us a question, have a chat, we're going to be hanging out, just watching the Chinese Grand Prix. Now, these are going to get into some stupid times over the weeks to come. Yeah. We're committed. Yeah. So if you want a genuine excuse to stay up and, aid in staying awake, throw us on and we'll converse with you.
We'll be on your computer at 1 a.m.
Yep. For other reasons. So
actually, on your computer. Yeah.
That's it. They shut down Pornhub in Australia.
Shut it down?
Yeah.
How do you shut it down?
It's banned. We're banned. Yeah. Anyway, so,
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah. Neither did I, actually. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, if you're on your computer at 1 a.m, watch us,
Yeah,
So
we've got nothing else to do now, clearly.
Do you actually know what time China is on?
Nah, it'll be a decent time, though.
Yeah,
these are always
friendly. It is one of the more kinder ones for us, 6 p.m.
Start lights out.
Yeah, so I can actually work. I can actually go to my job
you can
on
have a
Sunday.
Full day at work.
Come home and
lucky you. I know you love
nothing
more than a full day at work.
I cannot wait. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see you then. So thanks if you did jump onto the stream. If you didn't, now's your chance to rectify that. Like, subscribe, and follow, all of that sort of nonsense that you got to mention because we've stagnated. If you're an hour and 10 minutes into this podcast, clearly you're a fan. And if you're not subscribed,
drop a comment. If you're still here,
why do you hate us? Why do you hate us so much for? So, but good shit.
Yeah. Message Chris sucks if you're still here an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's a good indication. Chris sucks if you're
Let
still
us know you're still here.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Thanks again. Cheers.
All right. See ya.